All right, we're finding out some new details about that Florida shooting almost every day. New accusations. Police were told that very day to form a perimeter outside the Parkland School building. Broward County Deputy Sheriff wants to know a little bit more about this and the transparency that's being investigated into in response to this shooting. The Broward County Deputy Sheriff is Jeff Bell, and he joins us right now. Sheriff, thank you for taking the time. Do we know how many deputies, sir, or local law enforcement personnel opted to wait outside, were told to wait outside? I know about the one deputy assigned to the school who was outside anyway, for whatever reason. But about these additional law enforcement personnel, were they told stay outside?
Well, Neil, we don't have that information right now for the total number of deputies that did or did not respond into the school, and that's why we're demanding transparency from this administration and the sheriff himself. We're taking a beating out in the public right now, and the more and more time that goes by with us not being transparent, we're losing the trust of the public and the citizens out there that we're trying to protect. So we need to be forthcoming with the public, and if we did something wrong, then fine, let's learn from it and move forward. But we have to get that trust back from the citizens so we can do our job and successfully get back to protecting the citizens.
Sheriff, we did reach out to Sheriff Scott Israel on this. We've not heard back, but there have been many people saying he should step down, that the controversy alone and what he knew and didn't know at the time indicates lacks, overseeing. What do you think?
Well, I think right now, from the union standpoint, it's premature for us to make a decision or a comment onto that because we ourselves, we don't even know the facts. So I'm not going to make a decision to either support or not support that position that the citizens or the governor or legislators take. We don't have that information right now.
What is policy, though, Sheriff, on this? So whatever comes of this investigation, you have a school shooting. Men are brought to the scene, women as well, and your guys are brought to the scene. What's the first thing you do?
Well, our policy is that you may enter a building on it. It's a blanket policy of may, because there could be some circumstances that would prevent you from going in. However, we're trained in our active shooter classes to go, and to get into that threat and neutralize the threat as soon as possible. Yes, we would like to have a minimum of a 4-man team going inside to the building, but if your backup is still 6-7 minutes away and you're by yourself, you have to make that choice to go in by yourself.
You know, Sheriff, we're hearing from Deputy Scott Peterson, his lawyer, and this was the deputy assigned to the school, the armed deputy assigned to the school, that he was outside because he thought the shots were coming from outside. Did that make sense to you? Is that possible?
Well, in the beginning, the first couple gunshots that you're going to hear, you're going to have to adjust and try and figure out where they're coming from. The first 2, 3, 4 rounds, okay, I can believe that. But after 90, 100, 110 rounds, you have to know where they're coming from at that point.
Yeah. Part of the governor's plan, as you're aware, Sheriff, is to have an armed deputy or someone similar for every 1,000 students at schools across the state. Do you support that?
I do support that. Some of our schools are more violent than others, but we got to get the proper training to support the deputies that are behind it. I mean, I've said it over and over again with the transparency of this department on here that we're auditing their books right now because we don't believe their budget that they show us. But we have an $887 million revised budget last year in our county, and we don't even have our own gun range to properly train our deputies. And that's not acceptable. But that's not just this sheriff's problem. It's the problem of previous sheriffs that have tried to get that through the county, but the county just does not want to budge. And we even have land that we can do that with, but they don't want to turn it over to us.
Arming teachers. The president thinks it's a good idea. What do you think?
With the proper amount of training and identifying specific teachers that are responsible enough and willing to take on that cause, I fully support him on that. But there has to be an informed debate about this to come up with the best plan. We just can't have a knee-jerk reaction and put these guns in a school next week. We have to think of all possibilities, because you're going to have an urban school setting where we have a lot of kids breaking into schools during the nighttime, where maybe in a rural school we don't have that problem. So we have to have a plan and action that fits everything, not just one size school fits all.
What do you think of raising the age in which you can purchase a gun, 18 to 21?
It's not going to solve the problem, because until we address the real issue, which is the mental health status of an individual being linked with the criminal background check, it doesn't matter if you raise the age to 18 to 21 to 30. Somebody who has that determination to carry out a threat like this, they're going to find a way, whether they have to do a criminal action and steal somebody's gun or go to a store and purchase one. So I think that's just a knee-jerk reaction, and that's one of the many things here, as I'm saying, the political posturing and pointing, that this has become a gun debate, and it's not about a gun debate down here. It's about the individual behind the gun that we have to address, and these programs that we've enacted down in Broward County, such as the Promise Program, where we allow kids to commit criminal offenses on school grounds and at their individual houses, and we're not allowed to make the arrest. All discretion has been removed from the individual officer on scene based on the totality of the circumstances, the attitude of the individual, and the familiarity of the person at that dwelling. We have to get that put back in place to make that Promise Program to be somewhat successful.
Sheriff, thank you very much for taking the time. Sheriff Jeff Bell, the deputy
Thank you.
sheriff of Broward County. All right, thank you.